Please welcome Smita, Sharma, photojournalist and TED Fellow.
I'm going to share a few stories with you today. The stories might not be very pleasant to see. I must warn you beforehand. This is Pinky, a mother of 2 young daughters who lived in a posh neighborhood in Delhi. Pinky ran a successful business with her partner Radhe and was a friendly face in her community. What you're seeing here is the face of an ordinary woman, a mother, a next-door neighbor. What you wouldn't have imagined is that Pinky was a wanted criminal and a mastermind in the sex trafficking industry in India. I took this image of Pinky from the police records when she was absconding. After months of investigation, the police were finally able to trace and arrest her in 2017. Her partner Radhe was also arrested in the same year. In 2022, both Pinky and Radhe were convicted and sentenced to imprisonment for 7 and 5 years, respectively. I know, the number 7 and 5 sounds too low for such a grave crime. But the criminal justice system in India is extremely slow and has low conviction rates. This was a huge achievement for the authorities, despite the muscle power that criminals often use to threaten and subvert the system. Pinky's story is part of my 8-year project investigating cross-border trafficking of underage girls for sex work and domestic servitude in South Asia. This project was commissioned by National Geographic magazine and was published in October 2020 of the magazine. In 2022, this was published as a photo book, We Cry in Silence. I'm a photojournalist and a visual storyteller, and my job is to report on critical human rights, environmental, and social issues in the global south. You will often find news stories that look like these. The internet is filled with cliched images and numbers. The numbers and statistics are important. It helps us to understand the gravity of the situation, but they take away the faces and the stories behind them. Faces that are like you and me. Stories help us to humanize these problems, and my job is to show them through visual storytelling. A few years ago, I went to the Central African Republic on assignment for Human Rights Watch to document the lives of women who were kept as sex slaves, and where rape was used as a weapon of war. This is Angela with her child. Angela's parents and husband were killed in front of her, and she was captured and taken by the militia. During her captivity, she was raped by multiple militiamen and tortured. The rape continued even after she got pregnant. 9 months later, she was lucky enough to escape and then gave birth to her child. Her relatives rejected her and blamed her for having a child without a father. After her initial hesitance, Angela accepted her child and grew to love him. When this report came out, it embarrassed the local government and helped pay attention to violence against women in the country. While working on another project called Not My Shame, documenting sexual violence in India, I got the news of a young girl being attacked by 3 men. The attempt to gang rape her was a failure because Sharma, as we named her, fought back. Unable to bear the humiliation and defeat, the men dragged her into the kitchen and poured kerosene to immolate her. Her mother, who was on the terrace, heard her screams and came running down to find her daughter burned in flames. This is Sharma, lying in the burn ward of a government hospital. Her parents allowed me to photograph her and share her story. They wanted the world to see not just her suffering, but how brave she was. Unfortunately, Sharma succumbed to her injuries and died a few days later, leaving her family in despair and shock. I know these images are not pleasant to see. So why must we see them? Why should we bear witness to such heinous stories? Because these images and stories matter. They bring us closer to the people and empathize with them. They help to shape our perspectives and help us to emote and understand people's lives. Acknowledgement is the first step to work towards a solution. And empathy is the first step to work towards a resolution. I hope you'll show your empathy towards various people and various issues that we have been speaking about now and also in the future. Thank you.